fight. The pretty looking people, if I can tell you people, they were the devil's children.
I don't know why Aurora is feeling so affectionate this afternoon, but she is. Yes, Aurora. Greetings from Castle Goring from Aurora, Mickey, and from me. And oh yes, actually, I think there's a clue here because Aurora is the star of the show. Because that beautiful arrangement of flowers came for Aurora. For Aurora, thank you for all the cokes you brought to your ma. You're a good girl, a YouTuber. Aurora, wave. Aurora says thank you very much. She loves the flowers, don't you, Aurora? Sorry. Well, if I may, I will plunge in with Dawn Collins, 5555, who says, "Hiya, Lady C." Hiya, Dawn Collins. I love your channel. Thank you. Very gratifying to hear. What do you think of Meghan being papped on the same day as Troop in the Colour, and by Backgrid, no less? I think you are absolutely right. So she is so far up her own Swiss. She has eaten the whole roll. Well, of course, it's the establishment of a narrative, isn't it? And it's also poor Megsy baby papped yet again. And you can just imagine what the scene was at Montecito. Hello, this is Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. And I'm going to be walking with one of my security guys. And it's very important that you pap me. How do you mean there's no one available? You've got to. I'm going to go in 20 minutes. And you've got to get someone there. I mean, how else am I going to be able to establish that I'm a figure of great desirability unless you play your part in our wheeze? Okay, I can wait. We'll do it in 40 minutes. Okay. Yeah. And you might not be able to recognize me because I don't have on any makeup. Just a little bit of blusher and a little bit of transparent lipstick. But none of that heavy eye makeup that I normally have on. But of course, I have myself nicely browned up. So you'll be able to recognize me, especially when I put my hand by my face and my hand is white and my face is brown. But I think I'll keep my hand away from my face. I think I'll just focus on the phone. The woman is a study in contrivance. Also, did you check out the outfit? Black, and black attracts the heat. Black trousers, black top, and then over it, on a warm and sunny day, over 70 degrees, she has a white and blue striped sweater, which she then takes off. Maybe she has to honor her merchant deals with the manufacturers. But it's an attempt to keep herself topical, and it has succeeded because she was packed, it's been covered, it's been commented upon. She is, I have to tell you, really good at grabbing attention. But it wasn't only to coincide with chooping the colour, although of course it was also to coincide with chooping the colour. It was also the fact that she's having to cover up for Spotify dumping her and the rumours that Netflix could be next. Although I suspect Netflix understands that as long as they keep the costs down and don't pay her that much, which they're able to do according to the terms of the contract, I am assured, she will make them a profit because she still has her followers. So it is an assertion of I'm still here, I've gone nowhere, I'm still a star, and I'm still so desirable that I'm papped. I mean, they hound me. The fact that I have to beg and plead with them to cover me doesn't mean they're not hounding me, because that's the message I'm giving. You couldn't make any of this up. The inelegance, the vulgarity, the total tastelessness of it all. And you notice how she was playing for sympathy, looking terribly worried, and to the extent that she could grimace because her forehead is so Botoxed that it has virtually no expression. But she managed to overcome that with just a little bit of a ridge or two. Oh, poor Megsy baby. We should start a GoFundMe for her because she's in danger of going bust. Not only is her career in trouble, and she's losing followers left, right, and centre, but my marriage is in trouble too. I love him so, I do. He's so bright and intelligent and just so handsome. That full head of hair and that gingivitis just thrills me to my bones. Now, shall we move on to the next, which is Miss Bowlful says, Dear Lady C, thank you for your latest episode. My pleasure. What do you think about the rumour that Megsy Baby is looking to be the next face of Dior? Just another rumour they are planting in the hope it will stick? Or would what I used to consider quite a classic establishment really lower itself to Megsy's version of classy? Very classy. All the best to you and yours. May I interject at this point and say, I have some Dior from the last century. Couture Dior. When Dior was Dior. Oh, but we'll get to that in a second, because I'm going to read out something as well on the same subject from Corinne Lavinia. Hello, Lady C. I cannot believe that Dior would be that silly to want Harry's wife to represent their company. There is so much negativity surrounding her at the moment that surely it would be a very risky move. You know the fashion world so well. What is your take on all of this? More puff pieces? Thank you for entertaining us every week. I always look forward to your videos with much anticipation. Oh, thank you. All of this coincides with the fact that Meghan has been dumped by Spotify. William Morris Endeavour told someone, and I'm going to quote, "We knew the Spotify announcement was coming. It might be a shock to everyone else." I don't know why they'd think it was a shock to anyone because the program was dire. But anyway, "But we've been working on the rebranding of Meghan for weeks." Oh, that's such a surprise, except not to anybody on this channel because I said it weeks ago. But anyway, let's continue with their pap nonsense. That's Ari Emanuel, who's in charge of Meghan. You know, along the lines of, let's all stick together. Solidarity based upon the basest of motives. And I'm not referring to filthy lucre, although that comes into it. Ari is the best in the business when it comes to corporate deals and making money. He's excited to be representing Meghan and has thrown all his energy into it. The offers have been pouring in, including from other podcast platforms. Hope springs eternal. BS reigns supreme. And we're all such fools, we believe it all. Well, I'm going to tell you what appears to be going on. First of all, may I start by qualifying. The link has been made between Meghan and Johnny Depp, because Johnny Depp does Au Sauvage, and Johnny Depp was dumped and has now been reinstated. Johnny Depp was a huge star. He's still a huge star. Johnny Depp was dumped because Johnny Depp had his Meghan Markle trashing him. What's her name again? Oh. Listen. Ruby Listen. Oh. Topaz is? Oh, Amber Heard. You can't liken Johnny Depp to Meghan Markle. Also, Dior makes its money, as do all of the couture houses, not from clothing, but from scent. Without what is popularly called their perfumes, they would all be a bust. They make their money off their scent. They rope in celebrities who preferably are just sterling stars, or then, if they're going to be roping in Meghan, they're going for controversy. Now, Dior has peaked as a fashion house. Dior is not the Dior it was when Christian Dior reigned supreme, and then when Yves Saint Laurent took over, and then when Marc Bois replaced him, nor when Julian MacDonald was flourishing there. Dior is a fashion house in decline. If they are linking up with Meghan Markle, it is a confirmation that they are going for the gutter and the gutter snipes and the wannabes and the people of no distinction who are buying class with a capital K. So that's what's going on there. Is this a kite being flown? Is this optimism? Is this Ari Emanuel trying to push negotiations over the edge? Or is this something concrete? The fact of the matter is, with Meghan, you can never believe a word she says. And she is a maverick who works her way around her PR people to keep herself topical and in the news. She thinks, and she used to say this on her blog, The Tig and the Working Girl, if you want it and you don't have it, just act as if you do, and eventually you will. Well, the reality is that Dior has been in bed with both Meghan and Harry. Look at that dreadful morning suit that they made for Harry. I mean, it was a study in dreadfulness. Meghan wears Dior. Meghan being Meghan, you can depend on it. She's cutting some deal with them. And it is a very sad reflection on the once fabulous and leading House of Dior, if it has reached the stage where it not only is associating with disgraced dukes and duchesses, but is supplying them with clothing that is remarkably tacky and doesn't even fit properly, or when it fits, doesn't flatter, and is rarely. Are they becoming the target of the couture world? I think there are indications that's the way they're heading. Josephine Crawford says, love Bill Simmons' comment comparing Harry with Fredo from the Godfather movie. Both sold out their families. And do I think that's topical and relevant and suitable and appropriate? I certainly do. Bill Simmons has turned out to be Meghan Markle's worst nightmare, because he has just revealed her in all of her ingloriousness. I mean, it's a version of the Empress's new clothes. And we already knew that the Empress had mager leg, them and chicken foot, and that she had no waistline, and that she can barely walk, she hobbles, and that she is somebody who thinks that she has a fabulous figure for clothes and acts as if she does, and acts as if she is the Princess of Wales when she is just the Duchess of Sussex, with all the limitations that go along with it, including nature's imprimatur. Now, you can't blame somebody for what nature has endowed or indeed cursed them with, but you can certainly blame someone for thinking that a failing is a virtue and that a disadvantage is something to be flaunted. So, to continue With this theme, Mandy Mass says, Dear Lady C, I always enjoy watching you on GB News. You are always elegant and graceful. Thank you very much. A showbiz reporter has just mentioned her new agency, is working on a deal with Dior. Can you imagine her being the new face of Dior? Let's hope it's a PR stunt. The new agency WME that MM hired must have realized by now how difficult, lazy, and talentless she is. Everybody that ever worked with her said the same thing. Why did they sign her? I'm sure some of the big stars can be difficult too, but at least they are talented. Meghan may be talentless, but she has determination and she will hustle those buns in trying to create deals, and she loves being in front of a camera. She may not be able to come up with content for a podcast, but she can certainly be ready for the close-up, Mr. DeMille. I'm ready for my close-up. She absolutely adores being in front of the camera. And anything she does with a fashion house would involve being in front of the camera. So, she may be lazy and she may be talentless, but even lazy people get out of their bed and hustle their buns if they're going to be doing something they enjoy, and posing is something Meghan enjoys. Why did Ari Emanuel take her on? I am told by somebody in the film industry in LA, wait for this, that he took her on for color solidarity. He evidently is highly politicized in terms of color. And he took her on because she is under attack and a woman of color. I am told he would never have touched her had she not been a woman of color. But he's hoping that he can turn things around. And this will be a feather in his cap in terms of race and the promotion of the black race. So that actually makes sound sense to me. I don't know if it makes sound sense to you. And yes, sometimes big stars are divas and sometimes they're difficult. If they're talented, it's usually worth the effort. If they're talentless, it's not. And that's also why Meghan has never been a star, because Meghan has never, ever been anything but awkward. As Prince William has said privately, she is awkward and abrasive and difficult. And she is. So, Dior will get good publicity out of it. They think they will certainly get publicity, and they will be appealing to basically girls from very challenged socio-economic situations who want to be classy and who will look at Meghan and think, well, if that piece of trash could have done it, so can I. I think there's that element to it as well. So, in fact, you have class and colour coming into it in not exactly totally pristine ways. But, you know, fortunately, I have little and nothing to do with merchandising and the PR world. But I'm old enough to know that the old adage with PR, BS reigns supreme, and that there's a school of thought that all publicity is good publicity and there's no such thing as bad publicity, which I don't agree with, but there we go. Anastasia says, why is there so little talk about how delusional Meghan Markle truly is? Between getting married to Harry in a garden, to a 2-hour car chase in Manhattan, to her claim that she paid for her education all by herself. Why is nobody talking about the fact that this woman is missing some serious marbles? Sorry. Oh dear. Well, I think we are all aware of it. I don't think it's something that the mainstream media wish to discuss on a daily basis, because the fact that you're dealing with somebody who is really barking, and she really is barking, is really quite discomforting if you go with the reality of how barking she truly is. So if they're in bed with her economically and professionally, they're going to ignore that because she's a vehicle for them to make money with and off. The fact that it turns out that they thought they bought a Rolls Royce and they've bought a broken down jalopy, and they've spent a very great deal of money thinking it was a Rolls Royce and it's arrived as a jalopy and they're going to lose money, doesn't mean that hope doesn't spring eternal, and that other professional and commercial entities won't feel, oh, well, it's worth a shot. But it's only worth a shot to them if they don't have big deals with her. You can depend on it. Meghan Markle and Harry never had a prospect of earning the sums they have been banding around. And if they had had the possibility of earning such overinflated sums, they blew the chance in any event. And therefore, if they were worth, well, let's use their figures. If they were worth 100,000, sorry, 100 million, sorry, my sense of reality kicks in quite automatically. If they were worth 100 million 3 years ago, they're worth a maximum of 1 million now. They are chicken feed commercially. I am told by my contacts in LA that any offers are chicken feed offers, that people understand that they are a brand that's on the ropes. And if they can get them cheaply enough, it might turn out to be worth the commercial entity's while. Okay? But she is nuts. You're right there. Legal, at least going off her behaviour, I have to conclude she's nuts. I mean, the lies that spew forth out of that woman's mouth and the constant pretense and posing, even down to the backgrid, latest papped pictures. I mean, are we supposed to think that she's rarely been papped? And are we supposed to think, oh, poor Megxy baby, she's so worried, let's start a GoFundMe campaign and give her $100 million. She deserves it. She does. Well, Legally Eagle says, will Harry and Meghan have to rein in their lifestyle now that their income streams are drying up? I'm thinking especially about his lawsuits and the hundreds of thousands he's been running up in costs, not to mention their elaborate lifestyle. Legally Eagle, your question is very apposite, because I have been told by people who they have complained to that they are seriously worried about their financial situation and their ongoing ability to earn sufficient money to maintain their lifestyle. Harry has worked the system very well in Britain because in his action against Ravek, although the costs to the government have been nearly £500,000, I should say to the state, has been nearly £500,000. Harry is allowed to contribute only £10,000. So that's over £490,000 that we, the British taxpayers, have to pay. Now, I work pretty hard for my money, and everybody else I know works pretty hard for their money. Or even if they don't work pretty hard, they work. Harry and Meghan don't work. By their own account, they don't work. Look at their tax forms. We are subsidizing him, but he still has to pay his costs. And I can tell you something. If the state's costs are 490 something thousand pounds, Harry's costs are well over that. The state costs are always cheaper than a private individual's costs. So right there, Harry is on a losing wicket with his costs. He is appealing, which is going to cost the state another £500,000. But when he fails, it's going to cost him well over that. And that's just one case. No wonder they're worried, because all these phantasmagoric sums that they were banding about, and which I have said all along were pie-in-the-sky rubbish, don't translate into dollars and cents in their bank accounts, their many bank accounts. They are worried. You would be worried too. And they are now functioning from a position of weakness. Ari Emanuel can blow as much hot air out of the orifice upon which I am sitting and maintain that he is going to get fantastic deals for Meghan. My understanding is he is not going to get huge money for anything he manages to pull off. And as for Harry, I mean, Bill Simmons has blown both of them out of the water as serious contenders for any association with any main commercial media entity. We now know we're dealing with frauds, phonies, and fools. Well, some of us always do it going off their conduct, but when an executive, a senior executive at Spotify says it, you know that this is the view within the media industry, which again, I have actually been saying for some time, if you harken back to the things I have said, because my contacts in Hollywood have been telling me that Meghan and Harry walking through the door, everybody jumps out of the window. Mary OC2JC says, at this point, the biggest grifters are the PR gurus fleecing Meghan and the lawyers fleecing Harry, casting in on their narcissism, delusions of grandeur and victimhood, and obsession with revenge, in my opinion. Mary OC2JC, you have a point. You absolutely have a point. But these people are in business to make money. And if truly delusional dopes get in touch with them and want to give them large sums of money, I think, dishonorable though one could say it was in an ethical sense, as long as they have pointed out the weakness of Harry and Meghan's position to Harry and Meghan, they would actually be commercially irresponsible when Harry and Meghan persist in their folly in not accepting their brief, because they will know if they don't, someone else will. Now, where doubt arises is, did David Sherborne set Harry up and use him as a stalking horse with Elton John's connivance and at Elton John's orchestration? And did he warn Harry that saying, well, I think it and therefore it must be so, is a good reason for going into court and demanding that the judge accept that his word is not only fact, but that His suspicions, backed up by no fact, have got to be accepted as fact. I mean, that calls into question David Sherborne's, oh, whether he did warn Harry or not. And if he didn't, it would have been very remiss of him. And of course, David Sherborne is orchestrating a campaign with Elton John, Hugh Grant, Liz Hurley, and a few of those others who believe that public figures should never be held to account. Unlike me, I believe that public figures should be held to account. And when publications abuse our rights, we already have legal remedies at our disposal. But I get what you're saying, and your point has merit. Gail Christison says, just listen to the Royal Newsletter. Ironically posted a report late yesterday alleging that Harry collapsed and was taken by ambulance to a local clinic. This was a piece from a printed news report in their local paper. Allegedly, there was a conversation, in quotes, between Harry and Meghan over a lengthy time period, with Harry listening and drinking beer. When he made moves to get up, leave, in question mark, he collapsed and was taken by ambulance to a local clinic. Is it possible to find out if this is true and what happened to H? Well, my inquiries suggest that the publication that recounted this is reputable and would never have stated any of these facts if they had not been factual. I also gather that New Idea, which, if I remember correctly, is an Australian publication, because I think they actually did the serialization of one of my Diana books. So this would be 3 decades ago. But they ran with the story as well. And of course, it's gaining traction. It would appear that the story has some merit. Now, Harry evidently was extremely flushed and extremely quiet, while Meghan was Meganian and evidently commanded the floor. Was it the heat? Well, I gather the day was no warmer than when Meghan did her back grid pap walk with her security, with not only a black outfit, but a white striped blue sweater over it. So, and Harry was in a short-sleeved, I think polo, not polo neck, polo type shirt. So, Harry shouldn't have been overheating. No. He can't have been that drunk off beer that he collapsed. But maybe he suffered what used to be called a fit of apoplexy, because he might have been so concerned with the issues that were at hand. Or maybe it's just another ploy for Harry and Meghan to gain sympathy. Because don't tell me that two people who are so practiced at the art of media manipulation and are very careful what they reveal and what they conceal would have seriously expected to have a strained conversation in public over an extended period of time, and nobody would notice, and then Harry would get up and collapse. Can this be another ploy for sympathy? I just throw out that idea for what it's worth. And finally, Edward 311 says, Dear Lady C, I am under the belief that by appearing at events separately, Harold and Megaphone Mouth Ragland are just spinning yet another lie by stoking the flames regarding their possible split and potential divorce just to keep themselves newsworthy. They seem to have no shame whatsoever. Once a grifter, always a grifter. Well, Bill Simmons has asserted that they are grifters and even upped the ante by saying they were F-word grifters. So, if they don't take action against Bill Simmons, we can be sure that the reason why they don't take action against him is because he's speaking the truth. And so that even their professional colleagues regard them as grifters. And they certainly, and I've been saying this for some time, they exhibit absolutely no shame whatsoever. Well, he exhibits a little bit of shame, actually, in fairness to him. But she exhibits absolutely none. She is a shameless hussy. You cannot believe a thing they say or do. They are so curated and they are so artificial and they are so devious and manipulative, going off their conduct, that it does not behoove you to believe anything that they say or do until it is proven from external sources. Now, as for the marital troubles, I am sure their marriage is in trouble because, as I've said before, and I'll say again, once financial problems come in through the door, marital harmony jumps out of the window. And they are in big trouble financially, big trouble reputationally, big trouble commercially, with ever fewer options to turn things around. They have dissipated all, or virtually all, not all, but virtually all, the prestige that being royal afforded them. What can I say? You could well be right. This could all be a massive manipulation of the narrative. However, it could also have a kernel of truth. And I suspect there is a kernel of truth to all of this. because too many very reliable sources have told me of Harry's dissatisfaction and Harry's attempts to wangle his way back into the British circle for me to discount it entirely. And on that note, I will say thank you very much for listening. I hope this has been of some interest to you. If it has, please keep the questions and comments coming in so I can address issues that you wish me to address for you and with you. Okay? Thank you so much. God bless. And if you have enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe, press the notification bell, and Godspeed.